one more summer soccer Saturday on the south side of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Welcome to Highmark Stadium, ladies and gentlemen. This is USL Championship Soccer from the Steel City. I'm Matt Geica, alongside Paul Child and Gene Klein. It's Old Guard night at Highmark as two longtime pro sides with 47 combined years of history try to rebound from disappointing draws last time out and advance their postseason interest. Not only is the Old Guard shield on the line for 2019, the Riverhounds are trying to continue an outstanding summer season, 7-0-2 since the season's changed here at Highmark Stadium. And there you see the implications right now. Pittsburgh can jump into a top 4 spot with a win tonight. That much is guaranteed. But Charleston on the outside looking in. The Battery have not missed the USL playoffs in the modern era ever. So an interesting situation for them and for the Hounds trying to climb the table. Paul, it's been about home success. Pittsburgh is one of just 3 teams in the league that has yet to lose on home turf. It dates back 22 matches, in fact, to last July.
Now, that's a tremendous record, and I mean, it's obvious that the team does very well defensively here, and when teams come into play, it's very, very difficult for them. So we're looking for another one tonight against Charleston. Always a tough matchup with Charleston. So,
to your point, 8 goals allowed in 14 matches. Another clean sheet last week against the defending champs, Lose City FC. And Pittsburgh in position to make some history. The last time a team in the USL Championship went unbeaten at home through an entire season was 2015. There you see the Charleston Battery, tonight's opponent, as well as the Rochester Rhinos. Current Hounds coach Bob Lilly was in charge of that squad, which barely gave up a single goal that year at home at Salem Stadium on its way to a regular season and postseason title. As for the opponent tonight, Gene, the Battery, coached by Mike Anhauser in his 15th season in charge, typically structured defensively, but this year, very much balanced offensively. There you see 6 players with 3 or more goals. 3 of them are on the bench tonight, but there's still plenty of firepower out there.
No, there is plenty of firepower. They're a very well-balanced squad, Matt. They can hit you from a number of different spots, as we see Romario Piggott getting a goal here. And they're going to be well-organized. They're very strong defensively. Mike Anhauser knows the league inside and out, and he's one of the most experienced coaches in the league. So they will be a very difficult opponent to break down, as they always are, and we're looking forward to a great match.
Charleston in the midst of 5 matches in 15 days. The Hounds trying to hold serve at home, as they have done all season long. We'll find out what happens for the kickoff after this.
How do you turn you have cancer into you had cancer? You have us. Which means you have CAR T-cell therapy, your own nurse navigator, innovative surgery, a panel of pioneers. Everything it takes to help more patients turn you have cancer into you had cancer. If you have cancer, you have us. The AHN Cancer Institute.
The Riverhounds are looking to stay unbeaten at Highmark Stadium when they return to Pittsburgh on Saturday, September 7th. It's college and back-to-school night when the Hounds take on Louisville City FC in a 7 p.m. match. The first 1,000 fans will receive free Thunder Sticks, courtesy of Image 360. Gates open at 5:30, dollar beers until kickoff. Find out more at riverhounds.com or call 412-865-GOAL.
Explore a world of music on WQED.
Explore sweater sessions on WQED.
Explore educational opportunities.
Explore science.
Explore early childhood learning.
Explore Nebby on WQED.
Explore the power of the arts.
Explore Pittsburgh Eats.
Explore diversity on WQED.
The Hounds taking the pitch at Highmark Stadium for the 10th time in their past 15 matches. It's been a home-heavy portion of the schedule, and for the large portion of it, they have taken full advantage. There you see the Hounds in 5th place, Charleston in 11th more of a desperate situation certainly for the visitors, but the Hounds want to get back on the winning track here at home after that scoreless draw against Louisville last week. The news here, Gene, for Pittsburgh is that Thomas Vankiazil is back from international duty with French Guiana. He replaces Ryan James on the left wing of that back line. James hasn't sat out a game all year.
No, and Ryan James has been very effective for us on that left flank. Thomas Vankiazil, of course, Bob Lilly has used him just about everywhere, so it's no surprise to see him in the left back.
And for Mike Anhauser, Paul, change in goal. Just the second start of the year for Philip Brino back there. It's been Joe Kuzminski's task. He has 25 starts, but this time they go to the backup because of all the matches, 5 and 15, like I said.
Yeah, I would imagine that's the problem, Matt. And they've got a lot of new faces in there. They've got some goal scorers sitting on the bench, but obviously they've changed it around tonight because they have so many games coming up and have had 2 or 3 more.
Yeah, 6 changes for tonight from their game on Wednesday at Stoke Park, so we'll see if that translates to some continuity for the Charleston Battery.
We have kicked off. Charleston in white, Pittsburgh in the black. Laurent Varga is the head referee. And for the Hounds, trying to win their 9th match at home. This is their 16th appointment here with the Steel Army on the south side. Kyle Morton handles this one. Kyle has 3 clean sheets in a row. How about 11 in his first 20 pro starts with the Hounds? He was with the Rochester Rhinos, never really got a chance up there. Former James Madison star now plays it out of the back to his central defender, Joe Greenspan, who slips it up the near side wing. And we are fully underway in the first minute from Pittsburgh.
Looks like this. It looks like Charleston's really starting to press right from the get-go here. And they just going to try and make it as hard as they can for the Hounds to get out of their own end. But finally, they got a couple of touches of the ball, but Charleston again going at them and keeping them in there.
No, and a couple of sloppy giveaways early. I'd imagine they're going to keep their lines very tight, Paul, very compact. And the first ball we saw played was directly up to Basura, so they're going to probably be direct and maybe play direct into the Riverhounds and try to, as you said, try to press them a little bit and keep the Riverhounds under pressure.
14 goals on the bench for Mike Anhauser. Leading scorer Zico Lewis, also Ian Van Tessen. The ball's high into the air and out of play here. And Dante Marini. So that's 3 players who have 4 or more on the season that start this match on the bench. Charleston played to a 0-0 draw against last place Slope Park.
Nice
flick
on
the box by Nico Brett, and it'll be Brino handling for the first time with Robbie Mertz in the vicinity. Sammy Kasai gets a start for the Hounds as well. Kasai just his 5th start for Pittsburgh, his first pro season. The rookie out of University of Maryland, Baltimore County. He's number 6. You'll see him in the center of the park. And Vankiazil now playing out wide. He's done this a few times in his tenure with the Hounds in 2 years. Gives ahead to Mertz, the Pittsburgh native, and back to the captain, Canardo Forbes.
Yeah, and with Thomas Vankiazil out there, I just wonder if when Bob Lilly did his analysis of Charleston and did their preparation, and they're looking at, well, they're going to be very direct, and so they need Vankiazil to clean up a lot of those direct balls, those long balls into the back 4.
Yeah. Bob Lilly wants his team to be more patient with the ball. Not that time it didn't come to pass.
Yeah, I think Charleston was a little patient, a little too patient on that one, weren't they? They let that drop between the 2 central defenders.
Two defenders looked at each other, you know.
Yeah, you take it, you take it. No, nobody takes it. Yeah. And Nico Brett almost took it, but they played out harmlessly for a throw-in.
Brett, the 10-goal man, was rubbing his left shoulder there. He had a collision in the back with Leland Archer, the big center back of Charleston, but he appears to be okay.
One of the things we've seen already from Pittsburgh, which we have seen so often throughout the year and has really given trouble to opponents, is the mobility of Kevin Kerr, Robbie Mertz, Sammy Kasai are all pretty much now on one side of the field. Yeah. And so you're not really going to see Kerr glued to the right, Robbie Mertz to the left, or Sammy Kasai to the center. I think you'll see a lot of movement from those guys. Canardo Forbes will probably hold the line there in the middle of the field, but Kerr and Mertz are smart enough. They know how to overload a different side, and that often creates a lot of difficulty for an opponent.
Our first foul goes against the Hounds, much like last week against Louisville. As you see Bob Lilly there on your screen. These two teams are among the bottom 3rd in fouls committed. Charleston has 6 red cards, but other than that, they've been pretty disciplined this season. Back to the keeper, Brino. the right flank, handed back over to Toby Adewale, the Hounds minutes leader. And Forbes, another stalwart for this squad, bounces that ball through the middle, and Steven Dos Santos pats to his chest, says that's my fault.
I think one of the things we have to see from the Hounds, and I know Bob really talked about it after the game last week against Louisville, is they're going to have to be a little more patient and trying to hit these balls up over top to Nico Brett. It's not always going to work against a strong back line, and certainly Mike Anheuser's always coached a very strong back line for Charleston. So we'll see what they can do once they break the press, and there go another long ball that's now we're in a bit of a tennis match. But,
yeah, it's they're getting nowhere with these long balls, hitting these high balls. I mean, the Charleston defense are a lot bigger and stronger in the air, and they're winning most of them right now. And I think they've got to go back down to the ground and make combination passes and quick transitions.
Yeah, I don't think they want to get into a long, direct game with Charleston. No. I mean, they'd be happy to play that game and try to win second balls and third balls and collect some knockdowns and things of that sort. They have to take advantage of their mobility. They're very quick and smart midfield to make Charleston, pull them out of different spots in the back.
Yeah.
Well, both teams have been wasteful so far. We haven't seen 3 passes strung together to this point.
It's not a fluid start to this match, Matt.
No.
Well, after the second half last week, where Louisville just knocked it around the park, very impressive performance by the champs last week, missing 5 players out of their normal starting 11. They still look well-schooled, and so you got to give them a lot of credit. John Hackworth, the coach, of course, but players with so much experience. And it's an experienced Charleston side as well. They have 8 players with 3 or more years with the club, so they know each other. It's just a matter of getting it together. This is a team that's typically in the top half of the Eastern Conference at this point of the season. Not right now, in 11th.
Yeah, and so they're in desperation mode for Charleston. I mean, the Riverhounds also are, because they desperately want a top 4 spot and get a home game. But for sure, Charleston, they're on the outside right now, and they need 3 points.
Well, they've just given there's a offside call here right now, and
that wipes out the foul.
Yeah. So, as you say, I think we're getting like 3 or 4 passes, and then the ball's being given away to the opponent, to each team. And I think they've just got to kind of calm down and really start working the ball around and create some opportunities and some space.
Yeah, as we see Robbie Mertz coming real deep into the center of the park, and to try to get that as Sammy Kasai, I believe he moved out to the left. So a lot of switching around with that midfield, trying to find pockets between the lines, and you'll see both Kasai, you'll see Canardo Forbes, you'll see Mertz, you'll see Kerr getting the ball in the center of the park.
There's a long one, and that's not the battle you want to fight with Joe Greenspan at 6'6". He wins it back, but Charleston on the second ball, flipping it past Kerr is Kelly, and then Kelly distributes back to his own back line, and Patterson, who just returned from international duty with Grenada in the CONCACAF Nations League, same tournament that Thomas Vankiazil was in as well.
Oh, here's a good opportunity.
Chance maybe for Nico Brett, the Jamaican, to step in. But
just Nico grimaced on that one because he knew how close he was.
Just didn't read it right away. Nico Rittmeyer navigating through traffic.
Did well getting out of there. There was 3 players around him, and Hounds letting him out of there, and he got rid of the ball really well. That's a
Archer
ball.
Right, a line one hopper to Kyle Morton. He handles that Select ball. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, visit SelectSportAmerica.com. Morton down the left flank. Mertz crossing in, maybe a yard too far for Brett to get on the end.
I think that was a little bit of a rush there with Mertz. I mean, he was on he looked in the middle of the park, and it was only Nico Brett with 3 defenders around him. He could have should have probably held on to that ball just a little bit longer and got some more people up the field.
Diagonal to Vankiazil, cuts inside. Vankiazil has a run and pops it on goal. Brino, the save, chest height, but their first shot on target goes to the Hounds. maybe a handful of games in his 2 years in Pittsburgh, he's been out in that spot. Fun to see him get more into the attack too, because he does have some to offer on that side of the surface.
And of course, Barino, what did we say? Not only his second appearance of the game, Joe Kuzminski has been really a stalwart for them, and one of the top guys in the league as far as clean sheets is concerned. But I think with all the games they've had, of course, it's the third game this week. Mike Anheuser wants to give Barino a run here, or maybe because Kuzminski has a little bit of a knock, who knows. But the Riverhounds probably want to test him early and see if he has any nerves, or if he's confident coming off his line to deal with stuff. So we'll see if they're able to do that. But right now, the battery has made it very hard for them to play through.
Yeah, well, here's an opportunity for Kerr. Great ball down the line for him.
Side sent it there.
There you again see Kerr on the left side where he started on the right.
Kasai, incisive
great
ball.
little look.
And it's Kerr shooting, and it's blocked. Rejected by Archer at the point of attack. I thought Kerr was going to be able to get that one away. Three-man counterattack for the battery. Rittmeyer slows his pace to take it in front of Jordan Dover, the Hounds wingback. A step over move, and intercepted by Forbes. And right back over to Dover. Well, to your point, Gene, this is Barino's second pro start overall. Played at William and Mary. 23 years old, out of Maryland. Brett in a fight there with Archer near the touchline. Brett, the former Robert Morris product, 25 Hounds goals, wins the corner kick.
Yeah, came away with did well there to get a corner kick in.
And Archer acting like he was stepped on or twisted his ankle just inside the 18. Referee Varga over to take a look. And play comes to a halt just past 10 minutes. He's actually reaching for his quad, might be a crimp.
Yeah, they're waving the trainer on early, so.
Not a good sign for a team that's already playing a rotation type of a game.
Yeah, he must have twisted it. I mean, I seriously, that'd be a cramp this early in the match.
You'd think so, right?
When the weather's like 70 degrees, so.
It's a perfect night for soccer, in fact.
Absolutely. Yeah, he did something. They're calling for substitution right now.
Yeah.
So that's going to be it for Leland Archer and Charleston team that already brought in one fewer player than the usual allotted. So the bench will be tested. Head trainer Bobby Weissenberger out there. He made that universal sign for substitution.
Bob really talking to Kevin Kerr and Jordan Dover a little bit, trying to sort out some things that he wants. The Riverhounds would do it probably in the midfield, but strange. It had to be like got his knee caught or something, Paul.
Something, he looks like it's in his groin area up here on the high left
is that
and right.
Is that they're checking?
I saw the player coming off, and he was pointing to that area to the coach. So he must have just really twisted himself strange, because Nico Brett was, nowhere near him when he went down.
Vincenzo Candela, the Colombian second-year Charleston player, is getting some instructions from Mike Anheuser. He might be the one who comes in. Folks, number one Cochran presenting the first half. Proud to be the region's automotive leader. They continue to invest in surrounding communities, serve local charities, and sell more new vehicle brands than any other auto group around. Number one Cochran, go one better. Archer steps off the field of play, and so Charleston can complete the substitution. Eventually. Candela, it still hasn't reported to the officials table, so the Hounds will get the corner kick with Charleston a man down. Grounded into the box at Awale with a flick on, and moves it off last.
They give a corner again. I think we got away with one there. But
the near side assistant official has pointed to the flag, so he helps out the head man.
Now they got a sub on. So. They were trying to take that one quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Charleston bench was really happy with the fact that they wouldn't let him bring a substitution on it. They went ahead with a corner kick.
So Forbes again, he gets the do-over.
Oh, good
Lofts
ball.
this one in and headed out 20 yards away from goal. Kasai had a crack, and that was blocked. Sammy Kasai scored from 40 yards a couple of weeks ago against Ottawa for his first pro goal.
Charleston battery substitution.
I don't know what the
There
call
was a whistle.
Vincenzo.
There's a call there. It looks like he called whoever shot the ball. Was it Kassad?
It was Kasai,
And
yes.
he called a free kick on him for some reason. I don't know whether he handballed it or touched his arm or what.
Maybe an offside, I'm not sure. I didn't see a flag, though. At any rate, long one up the middle. Greenspan leads this team in clears, and it's not even close. Got that one again. Kerr trying to make something of it.
Oh, nice
Bounces
little
one
flick.
through. I don't know if Brett got a
Oh!
piece, but here's Mertz tripped up from behind. He goes stumbling down, and
the
there is
referee not
no
calling.
call upcoming.
Oh, dear.
Todd Brian Anunga was the man who ran up Mertz's back, and a few extra boos from the home crowd for the hometown kid getting punished, and
Well, he definitely
no justice on that side of it.
Definitely let the referee know that that was a call they expected for sure.
Lily off his seat and chatting up the fourth official, Alfonso Fajardo, whom we've seen many times here at Highmark.
It looks like they've put Candela into the midfield. They've dropped Cal Nelson, who started at right back. They moved him to the center, and Onunga has gone to the right back. So basically, Candela has gone into Onunga's spot into the midfield. So that's the adjustments that Mike Anhauser has made with the injury to Leland Archer.
Brett pulling away from the grasp of Candela, literally. Play continues on as Canardo Forbes slugs it to Kerr. Kerr has Dover wide and gets it to him. The Hounds were unhappy with giving up 70% possession in the second half against Lewis City. They want to try to correct that, and Bob Lilly says it's on the team leaders like Kerr and Forbes to slow things down when necessary, to be that thermostat or that governor to know when the team's playing a little bit too frantic. So let's see if they can figure it out here early, because Charleston has been all over him, and there's a foul on the high-pressing Arthur Bosua, and he gets a talking to from Lauren Varga, but
that was a silly
no
foul
discipline.
there.
He stepped right on Adewale's foot after the ball was long gone.
Now, if he makes one more tackle, I'm sure the referee's going to jump on him and give him a yellow card. So that was really a silly foul he gave there. No need.
Mertz a stop and a start and a feed back to Tommy V. And a bad pass to Forbes, but he makes something of it, gave it back to Vanki Azil. The flick on chance, but Dos Santos was zigging when Brett thought he was zagging, and it'll be grabbed on by Brino and rolled out to the near wing, and Patterson, the 23-year-old. And Brino hands it over into the Hounds bench. Assistant coach Dan Visser volleys it to Jordan Dover. Visser in his third year started off as an assistant to the former coach Dave Brandt, but Bob Lilly kept him on board when he took over 2 off seasons ago.
Candela's one of the guys who came in for Archer. He was one of the players who started midweek against Swope Park. So he's been a regular starter. So they do have 5 guys on the bench, and Zico Lewis, who is their leading scorer. So their bench is very strong and very experienced, and obviously Coach Anheuser is trying to rotate his squad a little bit with all the games they have had and have coming up. So they certainly are a very difficult part of their schedule.
With a one-touch to Dover, and now Forbes runs the show. A ball to the corner for Brett. Brett colliding there with Van Schaik, running the captain's armband. Van Schaik prevented the corner kick, but Pittsburgh keeps it on the throw. Brett couldn't guide it through, intercepted by Rittmeyer. And then Rittmeyer has it taken away by Forbes.
Nice little move from Kevin Kerr to get away from some
Having
pressure.
a real hard time here, Gino, getting down the flanks with this Charleston team. There's just no space. We're looking to try and do that, and it's just making it very, very difficult to create anything.
You're right, Paul, and I wonder if that's one of the reasons why Bob Lilly went with Vanki Azil, the left back, instead of Ryan James, knowing that it would be difficult. That's a great little ball inside the Kasai.
Kasai ducks and turns and ends up having it taken away by Candela. Playing in the back. Mertz whistled for the foul there on the outside, trying to win the ball back.
Charleston trying to take a quick one, but the referee calling it back. And Riverhounds Yeah, just having a real tough time opening up these flanks so we can get down the line and get some crosses in.
And you know, we're seeing Charleston in the past. I mean,
sure.
It's they're going to make sure they take away those channels. And as we talked about at the outset of the show, it's very difficult usually to break them down.
Yeah.
As it is a Bob Lilly team also, but the thing for the Battery is that they need 3 points. So at some point of the game, they're going to have to start pushing some guys forward and seeing if they can put some pressure on the Riverhounds. I mean, right now it's been pretty much direct and then trying to clean up second balls, don't you think? I mean, it's the Riverhounds are showing a little more patience now.
The Hounds want to dictate. They've had most of the ball the last 5 minutes.
There's one there.
Kerr a deep one. Vanki Azil will get there first. Can he make something of it? He's pinned toward the corner flag. Gets away. Forbes running two. Ricardo Forbes with a rip.
That was traveling, that one. That was quite a ways out.
Nelson got in the way.
We've seen him hit those corner shots and sail into the back of the net. So glad to see he's trying to get something going there in that respect.
Maybe just trying to loosen up the Charleston defending. Forbes again. Those choppy steps, but handed it over in the middle.
Oh.
And the Battery, there's Guerra, who scored the winner last July. The last time Pittsburgh lost at home, it was Tula Guerra in the 87th minute. 1-0 Charleston over Pittsburgh last July 21st. It's been 22 regular season matches since then. And Pittsburgh is 12-0-10 here over that span. This year, 8-0-6.
Heck of a stretch for the Riverhounds. Great
little
fake
Santos
Brett.
May have a run at it, and it's rejected at the point of attack again. He couldn't get the right-footed shot away. Van Schaik.
Van Schaik did very well to cut that off.
Yeah, he got a good touch, and it just wasn't in the right place for him. It went more to his left foot, and he had to come across his body, and by the time he did that, the defender got a leg in it.
But, you know, you can also see the really good understanding, I know that we've seen throughout the year, between Nico Brett and Steven DeSantos.
Definitely.
You know, I mean, as soon as that ball was played to Nico Brett, Santos was streaking a little bit. So they have a good understanding of each other.
Very good understanding, and really create some problems for other teams with that. And it looks so simple too.
Yeah.
Osua fell to the former Columbia star. And it's Kerr, 7th-year Hound, and the Scotsman dishing to Vanki Azil. His bright green boots back to Kerr. We've seen it a few times now, Kerr and Forbes trying to get this team to gear it down a bit when necessary. Right now, Charleston, everyone's behind the ball, so Pittsburgh's going to try to pick them apart now.
Now we see Kevin Kerr coming deep for the ball. We saw Robbie Mertz in that spot before Sammy Kasai's out here on the right side. So, again, a lot of rotation in that midfield. The only one that pretty much stays put is Ricardo Forbes in the middle, and but we see them moving a lot. As we finally, again, there you go, Paul, trying to find Dover down that flank that was taken care of by Patterson for Charleston.
But the Hounds are on the second ball. Kasai sending in. Brett going up. And it appeared that Nelson got his shoulder in the way.
Did a good job
for a moment. Brett fights to win it. Kerr crossing. Not quite good enough with Brino able to cut it off.
A little bit too close to the keeper with that one. He needed to just get that kind of in back out a little bit, which he normally does. He just couldn't get it where he wanted.
Yeah, he couldn't get any rotation on that one, really, to provide a decent outswinger, I think. A little bit away from Brino, and you know, maybe Robbie Mertz could have got a flick on that.
Mertz and Kerr have quieted a bit. Their offensive pace was stunningly good through the middle of August. This will be a deflection.
Corner kick.
And a corner. First one of these for Charleston.
Yeah, first time they've really been down there for since the start of the game.
Yeah.
And this is one where Hound's got to be on top of this right away and maybe counter-attack if possible.
Well, the Battery will line it up. They get striking. Patterson going after it. He was the intended target, never got through to him.
Yeah, Ricardo Forbes, brave header there to clear that one away.
Van Schaik, long one toward Nelson, heads it toward the 6. It's bouncing around, and Kyle Morton calms it down. Charleston with a couple of parries here, but for the most part, it's been about the Hounds in possession and what they've been able to do with it or not able to do with it to this point. Morton got under this one, but Dos Santos rises too. Dos Santos, 39 career goals, waiting for that 40th. Hounds would love if he could get one here early. Had 2 golden chances against Louisville in the first half last week and couldn't polish them off. He's sitting at 8 for the year. Brett has 10. Mertz has 6. Those are your top 3 guns for the Hounds, and Mertz is on it. Mertz's little brother Ryan scored the game-tying goal against Pitt this past week, playing for Delaware.
Yeah, big 3-3 tie between Pitt and Delaware.
Saw that Wake Forest was in town, the #1 team in the nation. Took care of Pitt yesterday. Some good ACC soccer in town here. Forbes through to Mertz, the Michigan man, to Kerr. One touch, and it's in the feet of Dos Santos.
That's a good ball. Yeah, good run.
And it'll be Forbes again wide.
This is much better from the Riverhounds because they've been very, very patient with this attack. I mean, Charleston, as we saw, dropping their line pretty deep, very low. Their line of confrontation is almost to the circle, and they're letting Pittsburgh play it with their back four and swing it around. You can see again now they're in their own half of the field, and the Riverhounds have to really just try to be patient and keep trying to move the ball to unbalance them with that.
That's what you want.
Dover in, and just a little too tall, too lofty for Dos Santos, who was cutting toward the ball. The Hounds strung about 10, 12 passes together there. Guerra, who hasn't seen much of it so far.
And that's Charleston's going to have to do way better than that.
Oh, yeah,
they win the ball and then just knock it,
give it away
aimlessly down into the center of the park and give it away back to Pittsburgh, and they're going to take their time with it. You can see how deep Charleston is dropping right now. But their lines are very tight and compact, so they're getting their back line up to about the 30, 35, 40-yard line, and their strikers are almost at midfield, just a couple yards inside.
Charleston has won just 3 of 12 away from home this year. 3-5-4 is the record. Can Anunga keep that alive? No.
I think it went out and came back in there, but he did very well to try to. Now quick throw.
It's into Brett, turns, wants a call, not going to get a call. I don't know if he thought a handball was committed there.
I don't know, but he should have kept going for the ball. He might have got it back.
And a foul called out in your midfield against the Hounds.
You can call with your hand up in the air while you run into the player, you know. You don't have to stop and look and say, you know.
That's spoken from experience.
It is.
Back to the keeper, Brino. Fans, the USL unveiled its elite youth platform, USL Academy.
Again, giving away.
Yeah, another giveaway. Van Shake. They're trying to connect with Patterson, and they're struggling a little bit to get 2 or 3 passes in a row together.
USLsoccer.com/academy for more on that. Almost got it through to Kerr, did Forbes. It's Dos Santos, surrounded by batterymen and taken away now. And picked up by Rittmeyer on the flank.
There's
Rittmeyer to Kelly. Kelly, the Honduran.
Kelly to Candela, who came on as a substitute for Archer.
As the Battery only have 2 subs to make now. Archer injured in the 14th minute. That's when he came off. So we'll see at least a couple minutes added on to the end of this half once we get there. For right now, smack in the middle of it. Kerr falls, but plays an accurate ball to Brett, but Mertz couldn't get there on the follow-up. In fact, he commits the foul trying to get to that loose ball, and he gets carded, does Robbie Mertz. First booking of the game in the 29th minute.
I don't think he got carded, Matt. I just think he was just holding his hand up. He didn't have a card in it.
Are you
It
sure?
looked like it, yeah.
I thought I saw yellow in his hand, but...
I think it was the sun shining, going down, and it was off his hand, kind of goldish.
Yeah, it could be.
Well, no, he hasn't been in the sun that much, so his skin, his hand looked a little yellow.
Well, if it were, I thought it was a pretty soft one.
Yeah,
here's an
we
opportunity.
haven't heard anything, so I don't think it was a booking.
Well, here's a foul called against the Hounds, and a A chance for Charleston on the offensive side of the pitch to restart it here.
Yeah, nice situation for them here if they can do something with it, but they've kind of been giving the ball away a lot. This is their one opportunity to get it in the mixer here and create some problems for the Hounds, as Bob Lilly is pointing out who to pick up.
2 men over the ball for Charleston. Charleston drew 0-0 at Swope Park. They feel like they dropped points there.
Yeah, that would have been a tough one for them because I'm certain they're going into Swope Park looking to pick up 3.
And then at Atlanta on Wednesday. Lower one in, and it's headed over the crossbar by Nelson, the center back.
You wonder too, Matt, to your point with Swope Park, the guys on the bench tonight are really the guys we've been seeing most of the time. And so you wonder if they were thinking, okay, we got to go with our main guys against Swope Park to be sure we pick up the 3 there, and because we know we're going to have a tough in Pittsburgh regardless.
Makes sense.
And obviously, that strategy did not work. Swope Park, as we saw them a couple of weeks ago, they got they're young kids, a lot of academy kids, but some very, very talented young players. So they, even though they're at the bottom of the table, you can't underestimate that group.
Free kick Pittsburgh. Forbes the man to handle. From roughly 40 yards out.
Somebody get on the little flick on here or across the box.
It's a chips one.
Oh,
Greenspan nods it down. Yeah, he's the man to look for it there.
They were looking for him. He climbed the back of Kyle Nelson to knock that one down. We just couldn't pick up the second ball.
The linesman calling here to the referee. There's a handball there by the Hounds and free kick. Yeah, that was a tough angle, hitting the ball with your right, from that kind of from the left side of the field. And all you can hope for is you knock it in close and somebody can deflect it onto target. It's not a very easy ball to get on the end of.
But that one there, Greenspan got on the end of another defensive clearance.
Yeah.
Again, Charleston's not going to have a lot of success playing those long direct balls up front with Big Joe there.
Joe was leaning back and couldn't put enough on that ball. It was intercepted by Kelly. And Charleston has a little stretch of possession here. Van Schaik wearing the captain's armband in the absence of Taylor Mueller, who's out due to yellow card accumulation. Mueller with over 200 appearances with the battery.
DeSantos,
thank you very much for what I found here. Yeah, and Hound's got a little attack coming out of it.
Mertz and Forbes play catch. Forbes, Jordan Dover, the Canadian wingback.
That's a good ball out wide. This is where we're going to look for it.
And it's Kerr.
Good, he'll serve.
Team's all-time leader in assists, and it's hammered through and deflected by Mertz. The shot was from Forbes, and the save made by Brino on the tip.
Good thinking there by Mertz. That was pretty sharp because
it was very
that
sharp.
ball was going wide, I think, and he just redirected that, and that could have really caught the keeper in a tough
because
situation.
he was unbalanced after clearing that one. He was trying to get back a little bit, lucky for Charleston, the shot was directed right at him.
So give Mertz the shot on target. That would have been something if it had found its way in.
This is a yellow card.
We do see a card come out this time. I was just anticipating it. Guerra gets it. Atula Guerra.
I think that was an elbow into the face there of
Sammy Kasai is wincing. He may have gotten that right in the mouth. He's reaching for his teeth to check if they're all still there. So Guerra, the fourth-year member of the battery,
Charleston Battery's number 10,
native of Trinidad and Tobago, 37 caps for his home nation. He had 15 goals last year, just 2 this season. So it's been an off year for Guerra. Oh, and he did come around hard with that right elbow, right in the cheek.
Yeah, he's very lucky on that one. It's only a yellow card.
A chase for the ball, and what's to come of this? A goal kick.
Fell on
Dos Santos and Nelson.
Free kick, I think, against him.
In a heap. And Dos Santos takes a moment.
And he's giving
him
his case.
Card. He has.
To Dos Santos?
Yeah,
Yes.
Dos Santos yellow. We haven't seen many of those this year.
And this referee's kind of
This might be for dissent, I'm not sure.
Well, all of a sudden,
in and out of his calling.
yeah, this game's got a little physical, a little chippy. And
A yellow card has been issued to the Pittsburgh
pushing it back.
Riverhounds on
Yeah, it was a
Stevens,
very bad foul, and
yeah.
knocking him down. But
2 cards in 2 minutes. The heat picks up on what's turned out to be a very pleasant evening. Beautiful evening, low 80s, high 70s maybe by this point. Our last official home match of the summer. Since the season turned, the Hounds are 7-0-2, so they've even been better than the stretch overall, this unbeaten run that's reached 22 games. Nelson wheeling to get his foot around it, did well there.
Auto Forbes, big clearance, one shake, big clearance for Charleston.
Adewale trying to screen off Bosua and does it well, at least long enough for Vankiazil to join in and
to clear it out.
blast it under the scoreboard, in fact.
Yeah, then pretty ugly that was. But,
yeah, it was.
Guerra reaching, but lost command. Forbes had it stripped, but it bounced right to Adewale. And the Hounds systematically work it out of their own defending third. Mertz ran into resistance there in the form of Kelly.
Oh.
And plucked out of the sky there. Fine little header from Rittmeyer, but it goes right to Joe Greenspan on the Hounds back line.
Yeah, I think that was Sammy Kasai. No, that was Canardo Forbes.
Oh, there's a good steal, and Mertz has got it right on top of the box.
Mertz can find Brett. He put too much on it. Nico had not gotten to full speed yet. A couple of times the Hounds have looked like they had a look at a great counterattack, and it hasn't materialized.
Yeah, those little combinations at the top of the box, they've got to look for some more of those, where, because you know Nico Brett's got the speed to get on the end of those little flick throughs between the players, and
foul on Dos Santos in the middle of the park there. Charleston not quite happy with that. I thought they just stepped in and won the ball, but Dos Santos holding his eye a little bit, so maybe there was a little bit of contact above his shoulders, and the referee blew the call. But what you could see there when they played it into Dos Santos, as we see this long ball down to Rittmeyer.
Greenspan couldn't clear it. Bosua got in the way. Rittmeyer and Bosua, the 2 batterymen in the vicinity. Kerr putting a bit of a bear hug there on Kelly.
Let's give a free kick against him for that as well.
It's been a scrappy game so far.
Scrappy would be the appropriate
yeah, I like
this
that
one, because we wouldn't call it pretty right now. You know, it's
a contrast to last week, which I thought was pretty fluid.
No, very, very much a contrast. Yeah.
Just as intense. We're not seeing that same cohesion on the ball from either side so far.
No, I think it's all around. I think refereeing too. It's like everything's up in the air and
yeah, I mean, the Riverhounds had a few stretches there, and then when they put it together, it looked very, very good. But they're going to have to do a little bit more of that. And Charleston, to their credit, is making it very difficult for the Riverhounds to really break any lines. They're as we see this long serve in.
Headed on target. Kyle Morton has to make the save.
You know, I think the battery's content to allow the Riverhounds to have it in their own half.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit, 10 yards outside of the, into the Charleston half. But once, like we saw a minute or two ago, that ball into Dos Santos, there were 3 guys crashing on him right away. So they really tighten it up. They drop a little bit deep and tighten it up in the back half. And they're going to, when they win it, they're content to play direct and try to chase it a little bit. So
call again here.
A lot of fouls
back the other way. Yeah, it was against Kasai, and then it was back against Charleston. Laurent Vargas had that whistle at the ready. By the way, A.J. Patterson got the shot off on the header from the Van Schaik restart. So 2 saves at one end for Brino of Charleston, 1 save for Kyle Morton now. Dos Santos the first time, ball up in the air. Patterson escorts it over to Brino, who picks it up right on the byline.
Greeno a little bit late, maybe coming off to that one. I think Patterson wanted him over there a little bit early, but you could tell he said, "Yeah, I know, I should have been there."
Get up now. And Charleston again can't make it happen once they cross the midfield stripe.
They just knock it up, and there's again Joe Greenspan on the clearance. So
yes,
if they're gonna play long, they better start testing Toby Adewale, who's not a good option either because he's very dominant here.
Greenspan's won everything, and even when it's been difficult, he's come away with the win.
Mertz. And back to Tommy V. Kasai has some room. Closes quickly, but he gets rid of the ball.
That's a good one to Kerr.
To Kerr.
Yes.
Mertz, no sail on the through ball.
They've had a couple of those, Paul, they're slipping balls in.
Yeah.
And just maybe not wasted just enough to like slide it through.
A step too late, or a little bit too much power on the ball. Not a nice weight.
Dos Santos and Kerr pinned to the touchline. Kerr works a little bit of magic there. Dos Santos looks to cross. Now he'll peel back. Has a couple of men in the vicinity. Plays it to the deeper of the two. Kasai. Adewale stepping up. Bunky Azil has it at his boot. Forbes and Kasai. More patience from the Hounds here again.
Charleston dropping really, really deep now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're not even attempting to come out, and they're going to let the Riverhounds have the ball at that area. And they're even defending more narrow than they were before, because we're seeing Kevin Kerr. There's a little bit of room out here on the flanks.
Yeah, but
so they're really tightening it up.
They're really making it difficult for us to go anywhere here.
Charleston came out in the first minute, pressed hard when Kyle Morton had the ball. Remember that. It's been nothing of the sort since. This one's handed away by the Hounds. Tune in to ESPN 3 on September 18th for a potential Eastern Conference playoff preview. One of the league's top defenses in St. Louis, red hot St. Louis, faces high-powered New York Red Bulls 2. See it all September 18th, 7 p.m. Wednesday Night Soccer, ESPN 3. That'd be next Wednesday, of course. Pittsburgh doesn't play this Wednesday coming up, but they do have a midweek match at Memphis, a makeup match, so it's about to get a little more busy. The Hounds have 2 more midweek games upcoming. They're at Nashville next week, so it'll be a Tennessee two-step, if you will.
Whoa.
Like that one?
Did like that. I don't know what a two-step is, but I liked it.
Yeah, me neither.
Can you show us?
Hey, if Texas can have a two-step, why can't Tennessee?
Yeah, seriously.
And then right back here against Indy to close out the month. So still chances to catch the Hounds here in person. Mertz deep. Dos Santos, flag is down. Dos Santos crosses as Kerr was running to the 6, and it was intercepted.
Flag never went up there.
No, it did not.
I thought he was a couple of yards offside, but flag didn't go up, and the play continued.
Again, Pittsburgh with the ball. Piling up the possession, not necessarily the shots, they just have a handful so far. 2 on target. Dover as they peel back again. Possession 66% for the Hounds at the moment. Checking the live scoreboard at USLChampionship.com. Feels about right, 2/3 of the ball.
Yeah, definitely.
Brett was between 2 defenders and Greenspan couldn't squeeze it through, but here's Kasai to win that second ball.
And there goes Thomas down the left flank again. But they're switching really well, Charleston. Gino, they're covering, you know, they're getting over to the other side. When the Hounds switch the play, Charleston's really coping with it really well.
No, they really are, and as we said from the outset, they're going to be well organized. They're going to have a plan defensively about how they want to deal with the Riverhounds, and what I've been impressed with is how they've dealt with our midfield so far.
Yeah, definitely.
The only real options that like a Kerr or a Mertz have had when they either drop very, very deep close to the backs or when they've conceded some space out wide. Canardo Forms has not had his normal impact on the game, so they've done their best to take that away as much as possible. little conference going on here with the referee and the fourth official
to figure out whether it's a throw or a free kick, I suppose. I'm not
it's
sure.
what, yeah, I saw him signal for a throw-in, so.
Yeah, I don't know whether this official was saying that was a foul. And I've never seen the official talk to the fourth official.
Right,
and ask
yeah.
him and then say, you're wrong.
Yeah, typically, the fourth official doesn't get involved in anything that's on the field.
Yeah, I mean, normally if they're coming over the fourth official, it's you know, something really serious.
Yeah.
It's not right. Normally for a throw-in, it's like, did you see that handball or that foul or something along that line?
Ninth foul against the Hounds there. 6 called on Charleston so far. A doubleheader from Dos Santos puts Mertz on the run.
Oh.
Mertz wants to go back to Dos Santos. He's not going to be able to win that race, but it'll be a throw. And Pittsburgh again stretching things out a bit. Now trying to work in confined spaces.
In the last few minutes of the game too. I don't know if there's maybe a minute extra time.
Forbes too much on that. Should be a couple of minutes because of the injury to Archer.
Yeah, that's right. We had the injury to
yeah.
Archer, so, and they're putting 2 up.
The fourth official has indicated there will be 2 minutes of stoppage time. Again, 2 minutes of stoppage time.
8 shots for Pittsburgh, 2 for Charleston. All the relevant stats outside of goals favor the Hounds to this point. To figure out how to get that breakthrough, whether it's here late in the closing minutes of the first half or in the second half. Regardless, the Hounds keeping up their first half defensive record at this point. They've allowed just 9 of the 28 against them in the first half. They're just tough to break down in the first 45. Dos Santos volleys to Brett.
We're getting down in this end. It's a good idea here. Try and finish up here with maybe a shot on goal. This would be good for the Hounds to finish up the first half.
Yeah, I think you know, I mean, the last few minutes, and I know we've seen some direction from Bob Lilly at the bench, and we've seen Dos Santos and Nico Brett moving into different spaces a little bit more.
Charleston winning it again and winning it back.
Guerra ran into Dover, who was trying to win it back after handing it away. Patterson to his opposite number in Greenspan.
Yeah.
He's had a couple of dodgy touches.
Yeah, it was
I've noticed with Kasai, every time he's getting the ball, Matt, Gino, that he's always going backwards with it. I never see him going really forwards or looking for that. I saw it when he has a little bit of time. He tries to look for those wide players, but a lot of the times, I'd kind of, you know, 75% when he has the ball, he goes backwards with it every time, even when he's got space to go forward.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to maybe have a little bit better idea. See if he goes forward here.
Here he comes now.
Yeah, I'm glad to see
he's trying to prove you wrong here on this pushback. Well, Mertz won the ball. Now it's Kasai to Kerr.
Good run.
Dos Santos now sets up near the 18. Dover, last chance for the Hounds here perhaps, and he lofts a hopeful one on goal, and the prayer does not go answered as the whistle sounds from Laurent Varga. No really great chances for either side. Pittsburgh had most of the ball, most of the shots, most of the corners, but it leads to nothing at the half here. And in terms of adjustments, I'm not sure if it needs to be a huge tweak for the Atlanta Hounds. Mike Anhauser, maybe they accomplished what they want to do too, because they were sitting back and absorbing.
I think Charleston's going to be very happy where they're at so far. That's what they want to do. They want to stretch the game as long as they possibly can. If they can keep it level as long as they possibly can, and then they're going to use some of these veterans they have on the bench. Maybe they can bring them in as substitutes and nick one on a free kick or a counterattack, Paul.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what the plan is. I think he's going to put in these players that he's got on the bench when he needs them, maybe in the last 10 or 15 minutes, if they can keep it at an even keel, right?
Yeah. So he's going to be happy going in 0-0 at the half. They've stretched the game. They have 45 more minutes to try to hold the Riverhounds down and maybe try to nick one in. So, but for the Riverhounds, I think Bob Lilly has to tell them that they got to be a little more patient and quicker because it's going to be difficult. They're very, very tight with their lines, and they have to move it to unbalance them.
I think one of the big things as well, Gino, here is I think this is where you got to get your like a defender stepping up and taking a shot from 18 yards and creating some other things to complicate the situation.
There's not much space behind their back.
No.
So time to take a break, time to talk things over on both sides. We'll come back on ESPN Plus and MyTV Charleston. Take a trip around the league in just a moment. Stay with us.
At Moe's, we've always been real Southwest. And we're proud of it. It's in our name after all. And we've always been real people, using real Southwest flavors, making real Southwest eats. And we've always built everything right on the line, fresh, just for you. Real, fresh Southwest. Welcome to Moe's. Try Moe's new Moho chicken, made with all-natural chicken breast and a refreshing citrus sauce.
All right, that's enough, you two. Don't paint your brother. No, you can't eat the clay. What can I say? Moms just know. I'm Christine Sorensen, and as a mom, I know parents know a lot. But for the few things we don't know, there's Kidsburgh, your go-to resource for all the great things in our area for kids and families. Everything from kid-friendly events, creative learning, and help for parents. It's every Wednesday on KDKA TV, emailed to your inbox and online at kidsburgh.org.
Okay, we hear you. Due to popular demand, #1 Cochran Nissan's 3-store supergroup just added store number 4.
Introducing #1 Cochran Nissan Cranberry and grand opening offers at all 4 stores. Lease the all-new Altima from just $209 a month or 0 APR for 3 years plus $2,000 customer cash and $1,000 extra for trades at #1 Cochran Nissan now.
Both these teams are coming off of scoreless draws last time out. Here we are again at the half, scoreless. So a breakthrough, much desired for both sides in this all black and gold, all old guard matchup at Highmark Stadium tonight in Pittsburgh. I'm Matt Geica with Paul Child and Gene Klein. You're watching ESPN Plus and MyTV Charleston. Hello to the folks down there following the Battery, tied with the Richmond Kickers as the longest tenured franchise in U.S. Pro Soccer. The Hounds aren't too far behind. They're using 1999 on that crest. This is their 20th anniversary season. And there is that Tennessee two-step I referred to earlier, gentlemen. Nashville and Memphis. Memphis a Tuesday game. I don't see that too often before Pittsburgh comes home to face Indy. So they'll be in a situation like the one facing Charleston right now, as you see more midweek action at Loudoun United. So even though some of these teams, Loudoun, Atlanta, Memphis, aren't going to make the playoffs, you still have the fatigue factor and the end of a long season factoring in too.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think you're going to, and that's what I think you're seeing here with Charleston, using the players they are the way they are in this game, and I think you're going to have that with the Hounds and in some of their games coming up. I mean, it's a tough schedule coming up in the end.
And Nashville, Indy, two teams that they want to jump past, especially Nashville. That's a high leverage game.
No, that's a big
next
game.
Saturday.
That's a big game for Pittsburgh.
And for Nashville too, that could decide who gets that final home playoff game in the first round, which goes to the top 4. As for Charleston, this 3-match trip ends in Atlanta. So from Kansas City to Pittsburgh to Atlanta, that's quite the journey from USL Championship standards. At least they get home to play North Carolina, and then Red Bulls to Birmingham. So after Atlanta, the next 3 are challenging for the Battery, who won't have an easy ride to the finish line either.
No, they definitely do not. I mean, they've really had a rough road here this last couple of weeks as we see them trying to rotate the squad a little bit, and it's going to be very difficult for them. But I think all the teams in the league who are fighting for those playoff spots, and or in Pittsburgh's case, fighting for the top 4, have a difficult stretch. And when you get games on the road at this stage of the season, there is a lot of fatigue that plays into it, and it's important to have a deep squad to try to rotate some players.
Birmingham, you might say, hey, that wasn't that tough of a matchup a couple of months ago, but Birmingham just had a 9-game unbeaten streak end recently, so they're back in the playoff field. We'll talk to you on the other side of this break. We'll go around the USL Championship. Stay with us.
Solomon Asante does it again. Mr. Reliable from the spot. Asante does it again.
As Asante steals it and just puts it into the back of the net.
Santa Costa. The attempt at an amazing goal. Maybe a goal of the year candidate from Rodrigo da Costa. This sign as well.
That's a good point. Let's wait and see if they do.
As Kamara absolutely flies past Tete for pace. Here's Kamara. And a brilliant save from Cody Mizell. Mohamed Kamara is causing problems.
Mikey Rowe now. Rowe takes it on, and it's in! What a strike! And Tormenta, they strike first! Ontivero. Silva will have a hit! Oh, good save by Majimadu.
Safe.
Hilton goes charging through, has to go! And what a strike it is from... Oh, that's sensational.
Oh, what a strike!
Kadima! Saved by Bettleson. They hardly left it fly. More on the save.
Nothing on the board so far in Pittsburgh. There you just saw some of the best, both in the USL Championship and in the USL League One. Fun to see League One grow and show off some of the talent there at that level, in addition to the expansive 36-team championship. And, well, let's look around the league and talk about Phoenix Rising indeed. Phoenix Rising FC, how about 20 in a row? They could make it to a level that's never been reached by any American pro soccer team. They've already set that record.
I think they've risen. You know?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, forget rising. Let's make it a past tense verb. They'll go up against LA Galaxy 2 Los Dos, who played them to a one-goal matchup a couple of weeks ago in LA. This one will be in Phoenix, though. Check out the Culture Collection jerseys, a pretty cool black and gold one, in fact, for the Hounds on USLChampionship.com. And thank you to Sonia Persaud for putting those together, taking a little bit of the local culture and putting it into a kit. I enjoyed that. And as I mentioned in the first half, Wednesday night soccer, St. Louis FC, thought to be dead and buried. They've won 4 in a row now, including 3 in the month of September already. They'll try to knock down the East top team and Red Bulls too. That's coming up on Wednesday night soccer at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock start time from the Gateway City. And to go to the standings, there is ascendant St. Louis FC. Into 9th now. They've hopped ahead of Birmingham. And Charleston, with a point, would actually step into a 10th place tie with Birmingham. So plenty of drama at the bottom of the playoff field. Ottawa's fallen off too. The Fury are no longer safe, as you see there. They picked up 8 losses. The Hounds trounced them 4-0 a couple of weeks ago. That was emblematic of their recent form. And we found out just now North Carolina lost this afternoon. So that helps Pittsburgh trying to stay ahead of them for that 5th spot. And here are those scores, by the way. Atlanta up on Tampa. A chance there to gain some ground on the Rowdies, too, for the Riverhounds.
Yeah, all these teams, top teams, seem to be going through a bad spell at the moment. And, you know, the same with the Hounds. And Charleston you know, battling away, it's getting really tough towards the end of the season.
I think it shows you how balanced the league is,
Yeah.
this division. And you can't take anyone for granted. You have to be prepared to play. And it's like we talked earlier with the remaining schedules of both the Battery and the Riverhounds. It is a challenge here towards the end of the season with multiple games coming up per week.
Pittsburgh just 2 points out of fourth, 3 out of third, 4 out of second. That's how it is right now. Back in a moment to wrap up halftime.
Pleasant Valley Golf Club, nestled in the Laurel Highlands of southwestern Pennsylvania, is now open to the public. Enjoy 18 holes of championship golf with a new island green and fully stocked pro shop. Our clubhouse features a large ballroom for weddings or private parties, 2 restaurants serving delicious food, a sports bar, 2 state-of-the-art golf simulators, and an outdoor patio with gas fire pit and picturesque view. Pleasant Valley Golf Club, now open to the public.
I should have been a cowboy. Toby Keith and his That's Country Bro Tour 2019. Red Solo Cup. Live in concert. I fill you up, made in America. Friday, September 27th at Highmark Stadium. Toby Keith on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Produced by Drusky Entertainment and Kirchner Concerts. Toby Keith and his That's Country Bro Tour.
Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC season tickets for the 2020 season are now on sale with special early bird pricing. Until October 5th, fans can enjoy a 20% discount on all season tickets, from club level to the supporter section and everything in between. For more information on season tickets, please visit riverhounds.com or call the box office at 412-865-GOAL.
How do you turn you have cancer into you had cancer? You have us. Which means you have CAR T-cell therapy, your own nurse navigator, innovative surgery, a panel of pioneers. Everything it takes to help more patients turn you have cancer into you had cancer. If you have cancer, you have us, the AHA Cancer Institute.
Last team to beat Pittsburgh here in Pittsburgh was Charleston last July. Oh, the Battery aren't exactly in position yet, but they're definitely hanging in there against the Hounds through 45 minutes. Let's look back at the events to this point. I'm Matt Geica with Paul Child and Gene Klein. Pittsburgh in the black, Charleston in the white here. Steven Dos Santos, a chance for goal number 9, guys, but Van Schaik got in the way of that at the last minute.
Yeah, he did a good job, the defender there, just getting enough of his body across him and blocking that shot. Probably one of the better chances we've had tonight.
Yeah, that tells you the Hounds have had enough shots, but not enough on target, not enough great chances. Kerr crossing it in, looking for Mertz, but a little uncharacteristic for one of the Hounds' main men when it comes to swinging balls in the box.
Not exactly Kevin's best delivery. We see another one there that's cleared, and we see this one almost redirected by Robbie Mertz, but Brandon was able to get that. Right? It was probably the best chance of the night. Yeah, those last two, that one and the one earlier with Dos Santos, who just probably couldn't get it out of his feet quickly enough. But and that was, we saw a couple of those where they tried to get behind the Charleston back line, but maybe just could not. Again, not much space behind their ball, and you have to really weight that pass perfectly to get something out of it.
That was really tight. It's really tight in there for them to get anything. It's got to be an absolutely perfect pass.
8-2 shots in favor of the Hounds. More fouls committed by Pittsburgh in the first half, 9-6. Lauren Varga has been busy. Haven't seen him in a while, manning the middle in a Pittsburgh match here at Highmark Stadium. Second half kickoff presented by number 1 Cochran. Number 1 Cochran, go one better. Proud to be the region's automotive leader. Here comes the whistle from Varga, and Pittsburgh goes to work trying to generate a goal, trying to prevent getting shut out at home for back-to-back matches. Hasn't happened this season, as Greenspan will take it at his boot. Direct ball to start this second half. Van Schaik lets it bounce and puts himself into some trouble there, but he did hook it in and keep it alive.
Does not look like any changes for either side. Of course, The Charleston batter, we've already had to use a substitute with the injury to Leland Archer earlier in the 14th minute. But no substitutes so far for the Riverhounds. And
well, here's an opportunity.
Dos Santos, yeah.
Dos Santos stretching out, the big Cape Verdean forward, lays it square for Kerr. Brett and Dos Santos in the box as Kasai will give it wide to Dover.
See there, Gino. Kerr gave the ball to Kasai, and Kasai went across the field, and Kerr took a real good run there, and he was wide open. He needed that.
And again, those square balls are what Charleston wants to see,
Sure,
because they're sliding over and keeping the play in front of them really well.
Yeah, they're going nowhere.
Piggott had that ball played off his arm. Greenspan wanted a handball, not going to get it. Arthur Bosua on it for Charleston. Slugs across, and Greenspan heads it off with the left foot. Couldn't clear it off of a Battery defender. It'll spin, just barely out past the corner flag for a goal kick.
I thought he was going to spin back in.
But no members of the Battery were pursuing that heavily. Two veteran coaches going head-to-head. Bob Lilly in his 19th pro season. He's never missed the playoffs. Mike Anhauser in his 15th season managing the Battery after 6 years as a player in Charleston. He's only missed the playoffs a couple of times and none since last decade. Not since the USL modern era, which started in 2011. Dover to Mertz, and a little far for him to latch onto as he jumped into the air, extended the boot.
Another one of those balls, Gino, we were just talking about, just not quite the right pace on it and the right place, you know. It's just out of sync right now.
As I said, you almost have to hit a perfect little combination in there, Paul, to weight that thing in behind, because there's not much space behind. No. Charleston will drop their back line off very quickly. They read it pretty well, and the Hounds are going to have to really play very quickly through there to combine to try to get anything through there. So we'll see what changes or what little adjustments that they've tried to make here in the second half.
You know who hasn't had a lot of the ball is Nico Brett. He couldn't get to that long one from Greenspan. Really both forwards, Dos Santos and Brett, have had limited touches.
Yeah, and the other one for me, too, Matt, we mentioned it in the first half, is Canardo Forbes. And he has not seen his, I mean, normally we see him on the ball so much, and he's dictating the tempo of play, and tonight he really hasn't had the opportunity to do that.
Banquiazil just powers his way through multiple Charleston defenders. Well, they were trying to be attackers. They were hacking and whacking at his foot. Bosua played the ball when he was on his backside. Thought that might be whistled for dangerous play, but it continued on. Eventually the Hounds did get possession back, and they switch it to the far wing for Dover. Dover tried into Forbes, didn't connect, gets a second chance. Kerr volleys.
Yeah, that was
a little too much air under that one, but again, the Hounds are on it near midfield. Dos Santos, the one touch. Mertz to the corner, and Brett. 27-year-old striker. Did he win the corner?
No.
No, he did not. He thought he had an opportunity as he dueled there.
Yeah, I think he was looking to try and come away with the corner. He just couldn't get his feet and get the ball to come off the defender. But yeah,
that was Patterson he collided with.
We'll see again, but I think so far, I mean, Charleston is going to really just try to keep things very compact and again,
just to absorb them.
Yeah, just to absorb as long as they can, and we'll see if about the 65th, 70th minute they start making some changes.
Yeah.
They have 14 goals on the bench.
With the injury to Archer, they have 3 guys on the bench with some goals, and so they can only, they're a little bit more limited now with those changes.
All right, they can only use 2 of those for offense if they want. You saw Mike Anhauser in the dugout, staying seated. Bob Lilly is up on his feet. He was upset with the Hounds giving that ball away. They've had more of the ball. No excellent chances yet.
And cleared out by Thomas.
Bunky Azil playing wide. Ryan James is out. He came into this match the Hounds leader in complete games played, if you will. He had 24 90-minute outings this season. We'll see if he's deployed in a sub role. He's only had one of those appearances this year. Brett getting close, but couldn't get to Van Schaik before the ball rolled to him. Charleston switches play.
Oh, that was a nice pass there.
Yeah, it was a good diagonal ball, and then they gave it away. But
and then give a free kick
got
away as well.
Yeah, well, they did get it back with the foul. But.
Dover and Mertz. I think it was on Mertz, in fact, the foul. Rittmeyer, the one fouled.
Good opportunity for Charleston again, as we talked about. They keep getting this odd 1 or 2 chances, like for free kicks and in these areas, and got to be careful they don't.
You got to be real careful for sure.
Well, here it comes into the mix, and it's off a Hound's head. That's Kerr's corner kick, Charleston.
Boy, I'll tell you, Angelo Kelly was wide open. I thought that ball was directed towards him, and if he gets a little flick on that, that's going to be very, very dangerous.
Kelly now retreats out beyond the arc here. So the Battery is set up for their first corner of the second half. It's just their second of the match. It's been a bunker and counter type game for Charleston, but here's a chance to step on the gas.
Ooh.
Well struck and headed away from goal. I believe that was Dos Santos right near the goal line, in fact. The Hounds forward doing great work.
Great
Brett
kick.
takes it away.
Now we have a bit of a
No handball. It's played into open space. Kerr's going to run on. He's got to run way over toward the touchline. See if he can still make something of it. As he chips one toward the 6. It's loose in front. Forbes heads it back across, and Kasai can't get there in time. I thought they were going to call a foul on Bunky Azil, who plowed right through one of the Battery defenders, and that was Van Schaik. He's saying, how do you not call that?
Yeah, I mean, Mike Anhouse is up in the fourth official's face, so you're exactly right. And you're like, what happened there? And that was the one time, maybe that was a superb counter by Pittsburgh, but it was the one time we saw really Charleston back on their heels and a little bit disorganized. And almost.
And not the greatest ball, too. It needed to be a little bit better ball, because Kerr went out in some real estate over there.
Kevin,
took the scenic route all the way out and back. And
yeah, there you see it here on the replay. You're right, he did have to go about 10 yards to his right.
Yeah, so
still a pretty good ball. That's actually Mertz, check that, pardon me, who came in hard. And a low bridge. Van Schaik went tumbling. Also, Atula Guerra ended up falling down, so a couple of white shirts were on the pitch at the end of that.
Well, Robbie Mertz is will not hesitate to sell his body to get in on the goal, so he went flying in there trying to get a piece of that cross.
Mertz, who was well ahead of his offensive rate when he was at the University of Michigan. It's fascinating to see in his rookie year the roles he's been put in. He's gotten a chance to contribute, had the 2-goal game against Birmingham. The throw in from Kerr was booted away from Brett by Kyle Nelson.
Nico Brett getting a little bit frustrated.
Forbes.
There's better stuff from the Riverhounds.
Dover in, looking for a deflection. Maybe Forbes was the intended man. It sailed right through, though, untouched.
But that movement and that quick passing and moving off the ball is stuff that we're a little bit more accustomed to, and I think probably wants a little bit more of that, because that's going to provide some openings, and then maybe they can find a Nico Brett in that situation.
Yep.
It does feel like the field might be ready to tilt here. Pittsburgh has been more aggressive, more positive when they've had the ball. But here's a look for Bosua, who turns and stubbed it. I'm not sure if it was blocked. And Morton had to make another save, maybe, on Guerra.
Yeah, I mean.
He did. I mean, and Hans got caught napping a little bit there, and Morton had to be alert to pick that one up.
Well, I didn't think Guerra was going to be able to direct that on goal. But
yeah, Bosua didn't get anything off that turn either. I mean, you know,
really. Here it is. It's showing you again.
Yes, he was open. That's Piggott, pardon me, on the short side, and where he gunned that into Morton's chest. I think Bosua's shot was deflected on the way, looking at the second replay angle. Here comes the corner from Candela, the first half substitute. Well, not a great effort there. Easily cleared out, then it squirts back in on Morton off the foot of Piggott.
There goes Brett. He's looking for a ball from Morton, but Morton not taking the chance.
There again, I mean, I saw a couple channels open to Nico, Brett, and Dos Santos. They're going to have to. I think they need to look that ball right there.
Mertz, an early ball. He wanted Kerr, and Kerr is upset that didn't get there in time. It is a corner, but he was uncovered inside the area.
Well, don't you think with how compact they are and how tough it is in the midfield that we need to find maybe a Dos Santos or a Nico Brett in between the center backs, and then they can lay stuff off and play some combinations in there.
Forbes setting up for the corner. Five Hounds in the 18.
It's a good ball.
An outswinger. Dos Santos over to Brett. Has a strike. And no handball called. That's what the Hounds wanted. Would have been a PK. Instead, it's a throw-in in front of the bench. Brett, look at that flick.
Oh.
Did he win a foul? No. And it would have been right on the borderline of the 18.
Referees just...
yeah, two
Laurent Varga unmoved by all that.
difficult ones there.
They were. Splitting hairs on those calls. Mario Piggott pinned in. He scored the big goal against Indy last Sunday for Charleston. A huge win for their playoff hopes. A rare loss for the Indy 11 recently. Rolled out from Morton to Greenspan. The Hounds restarted. Speaking of Indy, they're tied with Bethlehem at Lucas Oil Stadium right now, 0-0.
This is what you need here.
Kerr on the second ball, finds Forbes. He has Kasai running to his right. Kasai crossing. 1 foot too high for Dos Santos.
Yeah, really not a too easy of a cross for the goalkeeper to come out and just pick off.
Yeah.
It's got to be a driven ball and make it real difficult. Oh.
Mertz runs up the back of Piggott. Easy foul call there. Piggott splayed out on the turf.
He's trying to call Robbie Mertz.
He just runs all over the place. It's about the third time I've seen him run right over.
I'm looking if he's going to pull the yellow card out of his pocket, because he's talked to him a couple times.
Yeah.
And but he gave him another talking to, so I think Robbie was a little bit fortunate with that one, because it's not the first time that foul's occurred. So he's going to have to be a little bit careful from here on out.
Referee Varga made the signal for no more. I'll give you that one, and that's it. So Mertz, a 24-year-old rookie from the Pittsburgh suburb of Upper St. Clair. He's been duly warned a couple of times. Van Schaik to put his left instep to it here.
A good situation again. They've been dangerous here.
Dangerous ball, Morton.
Yeah, well read by Cal Morton. Yeah, calmly, cleanly picked that one off.
Just above head height, that one came in from Van Schaik. Van Giesiel nearly handed it away, but Adewale lunged forward to keep it from Bosua.
Yeah, Cal did very well coming off his line, but he put Van Giesiel in a pretty tough spot where he's distributing it. He has to turn around and play that, and then he played a soft one back to Adewale, who's thankfully for Pittsburgh was alert.
1 hour in, we've seen some sparks in this second half in the opening 15 of it. Throw-in Battery. Battery need points, obviously, to get back into the playoff picture. A tie would actually tie them for 10th. Brett to Mertz. Pittsburgh, of course, wants points. They want to keep this winning feeling going here at home after the draw last week against Lou City. Legal challenge ruled there.
Yeah, this referee's been calling some things like that and then don't call it again. You know, it's I suppose you just got to keep playing till you hear the whistle, but good job there of defending and winning the ball back.
Dos Santos went for a tumble near the sideline.
He's still down.
Ball's still alive. Kerr fighting. Can he get past Anunga? No. Top Brian Anunga, 23 years old, but already his 5th season in this league.
Yeah, Kevin fighting to try to get across him, but Anunga had a little bit of a step on him. And Kirk could not get there. We see Canardo Forbes trying to make something happen. Breaks the line really well to Robbie Mertz, who plays outside to DeSantos.
Boy, there's Santos too much behind that one. Goodness.
Lucky that stayed in the field.
That was not the delivery that he was looking for.
Fans, you can continue to enjoy the USL on ESPN throughout the 2022 season. That's right, the USL announces that the championship in League One will remain with the worldwide leader in sports for 3 more years. ESPN Plus will be the home of all things USL, and at least 19 games a year will be featured on the ESPN family of networks. 9 games on ESPN Deportes, too. Continue to follow, support, and watch your club on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's the 2nd year of the arrangement with ESPN Plus. Forbes and Mertz team up near the sideline, but it goes over to Charleston.
Mertz trying to get a free kick, I think.
This is the 33rd all-time meeting between these two teams. The all-time series is tied 13, 13, and 6.
Wow.
Going back to their days together in USISL, USL, second division. Oh, goodness. What did they call there?
Yeah, it fell.
I guess it was a foul against the on-charging Rittmeyer over there.
Yeah, getting his studs up
Our
on
new
top
partner,
of
the Beef Jerky Outlet, has
we're lucky actually because he could have called that either way. And it was a one-on-one with the
Dover
keeper.
had his foot up there too, you know. So
yeah, they both did. That was my thought on watching that. So they say Rittmeyer wins the ball illegally. If he gets that and there's no whistle, he and Bosua can play a 2-man game inside the area. Instead, the Hounds move back up to our left, attacking the west goal, as they typically do here at home in the second half after the sun goes down. Kerr, a little boxed in. Well, Kerr's had some moments with some offensive chances here.
Getting on the ball a lot, just can't find to break down.
It's been very difficult for the Forbes, Kerr connection, Forbes, Kerr, Mertz, DeSantos connection to operate, hasn't it? And there's a giveaway there.
Rare errant pass from Canardo. Forbes, Bosua, can he drag it with him? No.
Quite lucky there again.
But it's a corner kick off of Vankiazil last.
A lunge by Forbes there. Didn't quite get the ball, and he was on his back, and the player was going right by him.
Third corner in the second half for the visitors. That's how they draw it up. Defend and then maybe get one here off a set piece.
Sure, that's what they're thinking. I mean,
yeah,
this is the way they can steal one on the road.
Condella has this right on the edge of that corner arc. Piggott,
they're a long time
doing there, debating something with the assistant referee. Okay, Condella's ready with the run up. Back post ball, but Dos Santos was the closest man. Twice he's defended a corner kick. Hounds tried to press up and catch Charleston offside. They did not. Morton's gonna have to come out. No, they did catch him offside, just barely. The flag is up on the near wing.
Yeah, I think it was, he's called, did he just, he called a wear on that one, right? And he was just very lazy getting out of there.
Yeah,
he just
really
stood there and
thought nobody was going to see him.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Or that the second or third ball is going to find him standing there. So.
Strong header forward. Brett spun around Nelson.
Oh, that's a tough ball for the keeper there, and he did well getting it out.
Yeah, you're right, Paul. I mean, that's what I was thinking as soon as that ball was bouncing back there. You know,
Kasai punished from behind. His head snapped too when that contact came in from Angelo Kelly.
And no card.
No card, definitely a foul.
Another talking to.
We've seen a couple of cards, none in the second half, one to each side. Guerra's playing on a card, so is Dos Santos, yes. Direction from Coach Lilly to Nico Brett. Brett had 2 goals at Ottawa, 2 goals and an assist. He was the USL Player of the Week. last week largely limited. It was more about Dos Santos getting the golden chances, but he couldn't bury. Tonight, not a lot for anybody up front, as Forbes again
That's very casual
careless.
there from
And then
Forbes.
Kasai can't get up there on the sliding tackle. Guerra into open space in the
Oh,
middle.
my.
But there's a little pressure from behind, and there's Mertz on the recovery run to intercept it. And Guerra sprawls around on the turf.
Forbes made up for it, didn't he, Gino?
He did. I mean, he did. But boy, I mean, well, that's Guerrero again. I mean, he held on. He tried to play that ball square and played it right into Robbie Mertz, and he had two guys on the break. But I think you got to try to slip that in behind us and try to get something out of it.
Good takeaway from Dover as the Hounds try to pin Charleston in here, maybe catch a few men upfield. Dover the play on the overlapping run to Mertz. Mertz gets a piece headed. Brett missed a golden chance. That's the best look of the game.
That is absolutely the best look of the game.
I think Kerr was in a great position to just run in and hit that in the back of the net. If Nico had left it.
Brino came out for that one. He
might
really
get to
had it.
see
He
it
really
again,
was
I
at
don't
full
know.
stretch to try to get a hand on it. And
Philip Brino making his second pro start. He couldn't control
There you go,
this one.
Here it is.
we're seeing the look here, and he's stretching there, and then Kerr right there also.
Kevin was winding up for a volley, and
Ticking towards 70 minutes. Pittsburgh starting to knock on the door. That was a big knock that went unanswered. Dover dispossessed. Here are the battery. Rittmeyer to Condella. Guerra. Banquiazil inside the 6, swats it away. Guerra again, chests it down, then flicks, but taken by Greenspan.
I think Dante Marini's going to come in for Charleston. We see him get next to the fourth official.
The word is that Guerra will be the man to check out. Marini, 4 goals on the year. 4 of those 14 on the bench that we mentioned at the open of the show.
yeah, this is where I think we're going to start seeing them sneaking them in every now, a couple of minutes now towards the end, trying to get that goal to come away with the points.
Yeah, they need a little bit more active, and Guerra's been really kind of been struggling here. We see him just sort of standing there right now, just sort of walking around a little bit, and they need a little bit of energy up there if they're going to try to steal some points here at Pittsburgh.
It's the usual role from Marini. 22 appearances, 13 off the bench. Meanwhile, play continues
That's a
on.
great ball. Cut it
Look
back.
at Forbes turning on the speed.
Oh,
They score! Dos Santos blocking the sure shot from close range, and Pittsburgh has the breakthrough here at home, short of 70 minutes.
It was a great ball in, Gino. The best one tonight, where it was driven really hard. All he needed was just that redirection, and it's in the back of the net.
Some great runs into the front post, and again, they were been exploiting that right flank there for the last 10 minutes, Paul, and they were finally able to get the right delivery at the right pace, and some well-timed run by Steven Dos Santos. As we see him come here.
It was Mertz first on the combination with Forbes.
There it is. We see both Nico
Yeah,
Brett
Nico
and
missed the
DeSantos
first
there.
one, I think, and Dos Santos was right behind him and got the.
You know, they're saying Bernardo Forbes a little quiet all night, and right there, man, he turned it on, and we saw the impact that he can have with this team.
No, and that's what we've been waiting for, something to happen like that to break them down. And now Charleston's got to do something about it, and obviously they're going to start coming out and probably create some more chances for the Hounds.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, what happens here in the last 20 minutes, I mean, I definitely feel the Riverhounds can now lift the game up a little bit. And, how is Charleston going to change it? I mean, they're ready to make that sub, thinking, okay, we had 20 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Marini's sitting there waiting. They're waiting to make it. Maybe we can make a couple changes. And they're looking, can we steal something here, or at least lock down Pittsburgh for the tie? And did not, that's not what they wanted to see at that point. But great little attack by the Riverhounds. Attacked them with speed, man. Something that we said they needed to do with how well Charleston has defended.
9th goal for Dos
that's
Santos.
a great ball, but I don't
He
think
plays Kerr, but that's going to be a little too far.
He needed jets on his heels there.
40th USL goal for Steven Dos Santos, the 29-year-old, first-year Riverhound. So congrats to him on reaching that milestone. So 10 for Brett, 9 for Dos Santos. Pretty much just how the Hounds drew it up in the offseason, right? They wanted to add some help.
I think so,
on the attack.
I mean, yep. And you said that combination has been very, very good, and they have a terrific understanding of each other. And Canardo Forbes, in my mind, has always been the guy all season who can change. If anybody, it could change the game, right? Yep. I mean, if anybody can break down something like that, it's been Canardo Forbes. And terrific little run combination. They played him out that right flank, and man, he picked his head up and pinged that thing across. And we saw Dos Santos and Nico Brett both working really hard to get the
keeper's ball. Should have been.
Right, the low cross from Forbes, and he didn't look like the oldest Hound on the field. He had that great recovery run just a moment prior to that, too. So plenty in his legs late stages here tonight. 31-year-old from Jamaica, Canardo Forbes, picks up his 8th assist. He still has a chance to make the double digits. We haven't seen that since 2013 when Matt Dahlman did it.
There's a ball way into the
Greenspan and Adewale, the two towers back there, clean it up.
I think you're going to see Ryan James come in here. I see Bob really talking to him and giving him all kinds of directions on the shoot.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll see him maybe even for like a Kevin Kerr just to lock things down here on the left side, you know?
Yeah. Oh, great block.
Amidst all the madness, by the way, Marini did check in for Guerra. That happened after the goal. And we're hearing it'll be James for Kasai.
Kasai, okay.
So that'll push
Boncazil into the middle. Yep.
Right. Yeah. Move those chess pieces around the board for Bob Lilly.
Yeah, it's been a tough one for the Hounds, but finally broke it down, Gino.
Riverhounds like to wish a happy 9th birthday.
It's good to see, and
this would be a gritty win if they could get it.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's been difficult, as you just said, Paul.
You've got to grind them out sometimes, though,
They were
Matt.
getting frustrated. You could see Brett Kerr,
sure.
hands on hips, hands in the air. So the service wasn't where they wanted it.
And that happens when you're running and you're giving everything, and the balls are just not getting in the right place. So they've just overcome and battled and finally got that one on the board. But it's not over yet, and we've got to keep on plugging away here. Try and get another one too.
It almost, I think they're going to go 5 in the back to lock it down, or he's pushing Jordan Dover up a little bit higher, because Boncazil has taken a spot we've seen him take before, right between Adewale and Greenspan on the back line.
Defensive posture for Pittsburgh, trying to lock it down. Up 1-0 on the Steven Dos Santos goal. Forbes gets the assist, put a star by that assist. It was a beauty. And yeah, let's not take anything away from the finish. It was clinical, close range, but firm, and giving keeper Brino no chance to stop it.
Yeah, you take him any way you can, Matt.
Yep. And Dos Santos has scored him a whole bunch of different ways this year. The ball gets right through Mertz there, so Piggott gets a second chance for Charleston.
I was very surprised by that ball.
Anunga, back post ball. Marini, the sub, on the run, but Dover beat him to it. Couldn't clear all the way past the battery back line, though, and they'll swing it around to the near wing.
Looks like the battery's playing with 3 at the back right now, Gino, and just pushing everybody forward when they have the ball.
They pushed their 2 outside backs up pretty high, Paul, and then dropped their what's his name, Candela into the middle with them. So I think really it's just that Asunga and Patterson have gone up a little bit higher, spread out their 2 center backs, drop those guys in. Their 1 center midfielder is coming in there just to get that ball. So we're still with 4 in the back, it looks like, maybe, but they have to start pushing some guys.
Yeah, they got to do something.
And so that's what he's doing, I guess, to get a little bit more width. They're pushing, and we talked about earlier in the first half how narrow they were playing in the back.
Yeah.
And now he knows he needs to get some guys going forward.
Turnover.
Oh, there's a chance.
Dos Santos, can he get the brace? He plays in Brett. Brett cuts back. The flag is up, my friends.
Dos Santos could have put it away, and obviously didn't realize that Brett was offside, but You know, forwards are sometimes greedy.
Sometimes.
But then he wasn't.
Maybe he should have been on that situation. Brett just a step ahead of the last defender before the pass was struck. So that chance goes by, unfulfilled.
James Ryan doing really well there. And,
well, you know, he'll bring the work rate for sure on this left flank typically. James, native of Ontario, played his college soccer at Bowling Green. Sends Dos Santos ahead, but he left the ball behind, did Steven. And then he went in hard against Nelson, and no calls coming up. And Dos Santos shook his finger, and well, the referee Varga does the same thing, basically. Nelson is up with a limp. Anunga coughed it up to James. Strong challenge from Marini, but James got it past him.
Too late.
Brett had already held up.
Yeah, that's where you get that with those two. I mean, they usually have it down pat, and that time Brett went, and then he was too late, and DeSantis saw it too late. But they're still trying to connect.
Second goal would be massive, of course. Not as massive as the first, but
offside.
pretty big.
Got to be offside.
It will be.
Yep.
Bosua unable to hold up his run enough.
Yeah, Bosua. You know, the Charleston, again, a little bit lackadaisical on their part. I caught him just sort of like standing
in no
waiting
man
for it, and never looked to see what Pittsburgh lines were or whatever, and wasn't very active. Just, you know, waiting for something over top, and Pittsburgh, the back line stepped up, and boom, offside. So.
What the heck was that?
Not sure, but Charleston's going to get it right back.
Keepers passing to each other.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Little keeper wars going on here, I guess.
Oh, that's a dangerous ball.
Pickett does well to pull it in. Slid it on the ground, not quite as hard as it needed to be to find its way to Bosua.
Morton called for it there, but I'm glad they didn't let it go. Didn't want to take that chance.
Yeah.
Van Schaik, tonight's captain for Charleston, with Taylor Mueller out, one of their all-time greats.
Again, Van Schaik's looking for somebody to check into that spot, and they're just hanging out there, you know. So
another substitution coming up for Bob Lilly. The rookie Anthony Velarde receiving instructions from Lilly as we speak.
Come take Kerr out, I think. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Sounds like the fourth official has confirmed that. It'll be Velarde for Kerr. As soon as Velarde checks to the table. Bob Lilly this week said 8 games to go. He wants to see a stronger finish from this club than he saw last year in their final 8 games. He thought they plateaued. He wants to see growth in the final 8. To grind out this one, to use your word, Paul, would certainly be a nice positive step. Wasn't pretty from the start.
No,
but
not at all.
Still not
they're
pretty.
in position. It still isn't, right?
Yeah, you're right.
They found the one moment of magic there with help from Forbes, finding the urgency.
Yeah, it seems prettier because we got that goal.
It does, yes. It's funny how that works.
Yeah, you know, in a tight game, and we talked about it last week too with the Riverhound game in Louisville. That, you know, was there going to be that moment in the game that somebody could change something? And of course, we had that terrific moment from brilliance from Forbes to Dos Santos that right now has changed the game. Could Charleston pull something off here in the last 10 minutes? Wait and see. So far, no indications that they've really provided any threat to the Riverhounds defensively.
And it doesn't look like they've got anybody warming up right now that they want to put in. Yeah. So
Taylor, Nelson rather, fell off balance, but he won the header. This ball slides right past Bosua, and his head hangs a bit now. Morton rolls it out. Let's not forget the Hounds defending has been staunch the last 3 matches.
Yep. Always.
They haven't allowed one since giving up 5 at North Carolina midway through August. It's a stretch of 3 matches plus, what, 80 minutes to this point. So we talk a lot about the attack and how they can get it going, but they have been giving up a lot. And
F. Garcia de Castro, please pick up.
Part of that, so is the back line.
Yeah,
everybody chips in.
Yeah, I mean, again, just really lockdown stuff. And Pittsburgh always difficult to break down, especially at home. They've just been so comfortable. But on the other hand, we haven't really seen Charleston provide any kind of spark of creativity or any imagination, I think, to try to go forward and get something on goal here. I mean, sort of wanted to see if we'd see like Zico Lewis, their leading scorer. He's still on the bench, but it looks like
DeSantis will be offside. Just a little ahead of Nelson.
He didn't really know what was going on behind him. I don't think he realized he was that far ahead, and he was good 2 yards over offside.
Second sub for the Hounds is Anthony Velarde, the rookie midfielder, taking the place of Kerr. 82nd minute sub. The Hounds have 1 left. Charleston has 1 left.
Kevin's worked hard tonight. I mean, all the players have been really working hard.
And gets a nice round of applause from the Riverhound faithful here, and deservedly so.
Speaking of milestones, he's still 1 goal shy of 30. That would tie him with Thiago Martins for the 2nd most in Hounds history. On a different night, maybe a ball falls to him, perhaps that one that Brett headed wide, but it didn't work out this evening, at least on the goal category.
Another big win from Big Joe Greenspan. I mean, I want to see the stats at the end of the night, how many defensive clearances he's had. Because he has had, I mean, he has to be close to double digits with some of these headers.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's had a terrific match.
No, he has. He's won absolutely everything in there. I haven't seen one won by a Charleston player.
Looks like Charleston's going to bring in Agashi.
Joe Greenspan had a lovely post on USLChampionship.com about growing up in New Jersey near New York City and how 9/11 affected him as a kid and how it influenced his decision to join the Navy. Well, Mertz finally got the yellow. Yeah. Been working on that one all night long.
He really has.
But yeah, I suggest you go to USLChampionship.com and find that story from Joe Greenspan. He still is in the Navy Reserves, checks in about once a month with the local station. There's the final sub. As you two mentioned, it's Kitaro Higashi, 30-year-old Japanese native.
A yellow card is issued to the Riverhounds, Robbie Mertz.
Will have a seat for the rest of the night. Mertz carded. Again, just making that official in the 83rd minute.
Charleston Battery substitution, 25, Kitaro Higashi, and for number 21, Angelo Kelly.
So here are the Battery in desperate need of a goal. Marini, the super sub, has it ripped away by Canardo Forbes. Looks up the field, plays it off the body of Patterson. It'll be a throw for the Hounds. Final minutes have arrived in Pittsburgh. Thanks for hanging in with us on ESPN Plus and MyTV Charleston. I'm Matt with Paul and Gene. 2 more home games after this one. The Hounds angling for a home playoff game, but the season rapidly expiring. It's crunch time. Bunky Azil just volleys it out into the bleachers.
Yeah, he didn't get a call from the keeper. I thought he might come out and pick that one up, but
Anunga, Marini, back to Anunga.
Don't want it anywhere close to the goalpost.
Guess not. Doesn't come anywhere close on that chance here to rev it up for Charleston. Condella, Van Schaik. Sprays wide here. Forbes and Velarde pressing hard. Now Mertz joins that party.
Forbes
again, Greenspan gets the big boot in the way.
Forbes was flying there. He was going to try and pick that one off and go.
Van Schaik's been trying to direct some stuff from the back there. There's finally a little bit of movement, but
that was a good ball there.
You're not going to be able to, Bugatti's not going to be able to do anything with that. But, you know, I noticed the 2 center backs, Van Schaik and Nelson, have you know, when they're knocking it around, they're looking for somebody to play into those channels, and they're not finding it, and they get a little bit frustrated.
First time these teams met, Pittsburgh led 2-0. Charleston came back with 2 in the second half to forge the tie. That was down at MSU Health Stadium. Feels like a lifetime ago for the Hounds. They were still struggling to string results together at that point. They had so many draws. They were 2-2-7 at one point. Now they're looking for their 14th win. That tells you how much they've turned it up in the intervening months. Greenspan, another clear. Van Schaik just on his side of the midfield line. Charleston, meanwhile, has been a neutral for most of the season. If they lose here, they'll drop to level 500 at 8, 8-11. Still have a chance to change that. Dover on the end of that long ball. Velarde back to Dover.
Oh, DeSantos, great job.
Yeah, really came back
so
really
well with
for
those.
that one, didn't he?
And still got it.
And heads it into the open field. Can Velarde make something of this individual effort from Dos Santos? Not really, but does force Charleston to scramble around a bit.
Yeah, Bueno did well taking that out of the air.
Yes.
He's pretty skilled with his feet, isn't he?
Yeah. Got a player out wide here if the ball gets...
It's Marini finding a way to cross it, but Adewale.
I'll tell you what, I mean, it
defending.
takes so long getting, you know, when Charleston has had some attacks, just like takes so long for it to develop.
It's a long process.
And like I'm waiting for Marini to get one in there to the big guy Basua, who that's really their only hope, I think.
Yeah.
And he just waited, and then it was an easy clearance.
Greenspan again.
Again, another one for Greenspan.
You're just not going to win those.
Oh, there's a
those
ball.
Head balls. Dos Santos has one. Can he make it two? This would be spectacular. Can't get by.
Wants a call, but
two-pronged defending there from Nelson and Van Schaik. Too much to ask there from big number 8, who continues to work his tail off. He's looking to get to 10. That's a pretty rare milestone in this league.
Well, the Hounds just need to lock this one down for a few more minutes and, again, get what they need at this stage of the season, no matter how it looks, is 3 points. And that puts them in there for the stretch run, and I know that's what, what the team and what Bob Lilly wanted. And, my God, he had Velarde flying down that right
That would have
flank.
been a great ball if he'd have got it through.
Yeah, DeSantos has a little grin on his face saying, man, I knew he was on. You know, and it's still on that other side because you know, the batteries pushed Patterson way up there, and there's a big gap where Van Schaik is trying to deal with half the field.
Yeah.
Would have been a 40-yard breakaway from Velarde because Van Schaik was not going to be able to match his
No
speed
way, yeah.
from a flat-footed start.
Yeah, I mean, Velarde was on the go.
Just the final few minutes to ride out for the Hounds at home. Trying to become the first team since 2015 to go undefeated for an entire season at home. They can take care of this one. They'll have 2 more home dates. The next one is the 28th of this month, Saturday night. Kickoff against the Indy 11. That'll be difficult. Indy has its own home stretch going on, which right now they are in front of Bethlehem Steel, in fact, late in the second half. Louisville leads Hartford, so the Hounds really have to win to keep pace. They win, they will move into 4th in the East, up from 5th. Dos Santos makes a beeline straight up the field.
Yeah, he was heading just straight for the corner and just to kill as much time off as he possibly could.
Heading for the locker room.
Maybe, take the ball with you while you're at it. Dabo, Mohamed Dabo is the final sub for the Hounds. The defensive-minded midfielder replaces Robbie Mertz.
Riverhounds substitution. Number 21, Mohamed
And a hand for
in front of
the
24,
hometown product, Mertz.
Yeah, definitely. Worked very hard, just like Kerr. You know, they all worked very hard tonight and grounded out.
Yeah, I mean, as always, you see that unbelievable motor for Robbie Mertz, just covers so much ground and see a lot of the ball, get into a lot of different spots and spaces. And so, you know, good, strong match with he and Kevin Kerr. They made it very difficult, as we said, in the midfield. They made it difficult for Kerr, for Canaro,
The fourth official has indicated there will be 3 minutes of stoppage time in the game. 3 minutes.
3 minutes added on. Charleston tried to steal that throw-in from the Hounds. I was wondering what was going on there. So were many of the folks dressed in black down to my left. Another throw for Pittsburgh. This will help kill some time at the very least. Trying to grind it out and beat the last team that beat them here at home in a 1-0 game. That was that night too. July 21st, 2018, 22 matches ago. Tulagera had the winner. Goal kick, Charleston. Indy now up 2-1 on Bethlehem. Tampa and Atlanta tied at 61st minute. So Tampa has rallied back. It's been a rough stretch for the Rowdies lately. They've lost some steam. They were at first for the longest time. Dover couldn't get it beyond the midfield stripe, but he'll get a second chance at it, as sometimes happens. Back to Van Schaik on his preferred left foot. Can he slam that one inside the touchline? He does. Marini. Rittmeyer. Foul called against Pittsburgh.
That's well. If I'm a battery, this is their last chance. And they are throwing everybody up there now. I was going to say they better be putting everybody up in the box on this one, because this is really it.
Jared Van Schaik toward the 6, headed back across. That looked promising for a moment for Charleston as Nelson won the first ball. A rare first win.
Handball. No.
Anunga, legally apparently, pops loose. Oh my.
Oh.
Marini.
Getting a bit sloppy there in the box there. We kind of like, you going to get it, I'm going to get it. And it wound up being a great opportunity there.
No, very good opportunity for Charleston. Maybe their best opportunity of the night.
And that might have been it for them.
They threw some numbers up. But I was going to say earlier, I mean, I was waiting for them to get in desperation mode and start really throwing everything, everything in the old proverbial mixer, but they really haven't, except for that last time.
Reno, that was a great ball. Onto the foot of Kitaro Higashi, who turns and switches play toward the far touchline, but it's out. That hurts the battery cause. Higashi kept it in play for Van Schaik, the Oregon native. To Nelson. Charleston needs something in a hurry.
Yeah, they taking a good old time. We're got to be close.
Van Schaik on the windup. The Hounds are backing off a little bit, so he'll take the available space.
Aye.
Missed touch from James. My goodness, it's free for a wide shot from Marini.
Boy, James there, why did he do that? He could have just let that ball go out.
And the final whistle on 2 near misses for Marini. Hounds win. Hounds win 1-0. The unbeaten streak is at 23. And Bob Lilly comes to shake hands with his old buddy Mike Anhauser. What a fight between these two squads tonight. Pittsburgh now 14-4-9. Steven Dos Santos takes it all in as he realizes the battle is won. Pittsburgh 9-0-6 at Highmark Stadium. The Fortress was defended once again, but it was close.
It was close. I think, both groups tried to keep it very tight. They were very cautious, from especially Charleston, obviously. Could never really get anything going, and Pittsburgh had a few chances that maybe if they could score earlier, it's a different match.
Yeah, definitely, but there was a great opportunity there in the last minute of this game for Charleston to get back on the board, and we're very, very close, but obviously Hounds grinded out.
The old guard shield, you saw it there, raised aloft in the Steel Army. It stays with Pittsburgh as they hold on to it with a 1-0-1 record against Charleston this season. And this one, they'll remember for a little bit longer than the last one. Keep it right here. We'll regroup and give it to you again, distilled version, after this break.
What do you call it when Western Pennsylvania's largest automotive retailer begins selling the region's most popular brand?
Chevrolettionary, which also describes our grand opening offers.
Introducing the all-new #1 Cochran Chevrolet, where you'll find a special 2-year lease on a sporty Trax from just $99 a month. The unequaled Equinox as low as $139 a month, plus $1,000 extra for trades at the all-new #1 Cochran Chevrolet.
I should have been a cowboy. Toby Keith and his That's Country Bro Tour 2019.
Red Solo Cup.
Live in concert.
I fill you up, made in America.
Friday, September 27th at Highmark Stadium. Toby Keith on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Produced by Drusky Entertainment and Kirchner Concerts. Toby Keith and his That's Country Bro Tour.
Well, take a breath. Maybe take a drink if you're in the Steel Army or sitting at home enjoying. 1-0 Hounds over the Battery. These two teams that have been in this league for a long time together had a fight to remember tonight. As we said a few times, not the prettiest, but much like the 1-0 win against Loudoun a couple of weeks ago, Pittsburgh pulls it out with a moment of magic. And here we can relive it with you. This was second half highlights.
Close one.
Bosua turned and then Piggott drove it online. Just one of 2 shots on target for Charleston tonight was right there.
And he really didn't catch it, and almost something came out of it. But Kyle Morton was alert to get over to his near post and
just make himself as big as he could and blocked it.
As he could, and this is.
Well, look here as the keeper for Charleston, Brino, punched it right to Brett, but
Nico Brett couldn't get turned around enough to put that on goal. But.
Yeah, I thought Kurt was in a better position than that. I really noticed from that last view he was a little bit in front of the ball, so he probably wouldn't have been able to get a hit on it anyway.
Right.
Too quick for Brett to react to.
But
goes down with a pained smile. Here's the moment of magic that broke things open. Forbes running in, and it skips right past Brett, but Dos Santos was there the second wave. The second level of runs into the box.
It was a good job. Brett missed it, actually.
Yeah, I didn't realize that on live action, but that's why you have 2 runners, I suppose.
Exactly.
One misses, the first one can't get
next one gets it.
Yeah.
And boy, did Dos Santos blast that through the back of the net.
And I think Von Schaik also missed it there. He had a chance. He was disappointed himself that he had a chance to clear that.
So here's the update. The Hounds, with 1 fewer game, will put them into the 4th spot, even though they're tied in points with Nashville. This reflecting if scores right now hold up. So Tampa would pick up a point, go to 3rd. Indy would move into a 1st place tie, which they've been sniffing around that top spot. And Charleston remains that 1 point out of the 10th position, which is the final playoff spot this year. So difficult week for Charleston so far. They get no goals at Swope Park, no goals here in Pittsburgh, just 1 out of a possible 6 points for Mike Danhauser's team.
Well, and that can happen if they want to get into the playoff spot. They want to get into the top 10. They have to be. They have to find some way to start scoring some goals to get if they're going to have a shot for the playoffs this year.
Yeah,
and the Hounds, they're looking for improvement late in the season. They got their 14th win, and they continue to defend home turf. Next time we'll talk to you is in a couple weeks against Indy. But Pittsburgh has a couple of matches on the road coming up. Nashville next Saturday, and then Memphis a week from Tuesday. Wow. We enjoyed it tonight. Hope you did too. For Paul and Gene, I'm Matt saying good night from Highmark Stadium.
And good night.
Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.